So welcome to another Spectrum Geeks video. It's 4:30 AM in the morning. This is a time that I shouldn't be awake. But in this video, we're making a kind of a little epic journey that I'm hoping is going to be uneventful, but also informative and maybe interesting to you guys. So thanks so much again for clicking the video to watch. So what's happening is we're travelling here from Worcestershire all the way up to Northumberland to Fun Fit Adventure to collect my hero camper. Check out some of my other videos if you're interested in what that is. There'll be more videos to come. Obviously, hopefully see it in this video. It's basically a teardrop camper. So it's 265 miles to get there and obviously 265 miles to come back. But obviously when I'm coming back, I'm going to be towing, which is going to halve my range. And obviously I can't start the departure piece at 100%. So there's going to be adventures of towing and charging whilst towing, and because it's going to be a really long trip, I will also probably end up sleeping overnight in a teardrop and then continuing the rest of the journey. So we're going to see in this video what's the range like in the Polestar 2 for the 265 miles journey up, and then what's the range like on the way back towing for 265 miles. What's the efficiency like? How eventful is the journey? I was hoping to leave on 100%, but the car's only charged up to 91% because I didn't start the charging early enough, but that's fine. I'm not worried so much about the journey up. I'm going to use Google Maps for the journey up and then probably a better route planner on the way back. I've got different charging stations that I've kind of made notes of on paper in case there is a connectivity failure, which there currently is. The internet's not working again on this thing, so I'm going to have to reboot it. But yeah, should be an adventure. So I'll take you on this journey, showing you where we are at the different charging points. Most of the charging points I'm going to try and use, well, my original plan is to use BP charging points because I have credit there, but I think that's probably all going to go out the window and I'll just go wherever is most convenient and is going to work for me. But that's it. I'm going to make a start now. Reset the odometer. I've got obviously my main camera here. I've got a GoPro suctioned to the roof so we can have a little bit of footage out the window, and I have my Osmo Pocket 2 as well. So it's going to be a long old day. I've got my audiobooks ready. There's my Sneak energy drink on the ready as well, and yeah, I'm sure that the car's going to do brilliantly, and it's going to be my bladder that maybe makes me decide I need to stop and charge. So I'm already getting warm. I'll take off my hoodie and then let's get going. Wish me luck. Okay, so we're on our way. I had to restart the telematics unit on the drive before I left to get the sat-nav working, to have cell reception, and literally as I pulled off the drive I had to reset it again because it had lost connectivity. Polestar really need to kind of get that fixed, because this is now only my second long journey that I've done in the Polestar and it's the same issue. So it's windy, rainy and horrible, but I've planned to do an Instavolt charger for my first charge in about 2 hours 24 minutes and 142 miles. I may need a bathroom break before then. I probably will need a bathroom break before then, but we'll see how we go. It's actually quite light, and I'm behind schedule. I wanted to leave at 4:30, and due to having to wait for the telematics stuff to reset everything, I added 15 minutes onto my journey, so I didn't leave until 4:45 in the end, which is a little bit annoying, I have to say. But yeah, I'm going to settle in now to my audiobook. I'm listening to Hail Mary, or The Hail Mary, which is Andy Weir's latest book. You may know him from The Martian and Artemis. Highly recommend it. I will finish it on this journey. But yeah.
At the roundabout, take the second exit and stay on B4084.
Yeah, we're on the move. and all the camera gear's vibrating a little bit, but yeah, we'll give you an update in 140 odd miles. What if my bladder needs to go earlier, which it probably will, because you know it's like early morning thing, the whole thing's out of sync. But yeah, it's a shame it's not a little bit darker. I'll show you the
roundabout onto B4084.
show you the awesome headlights on the Polestar too.
B4084 for 1 mile.
They are good, but other videos on that. But I'll stop my nattering and I'll catch you at the first charging point or the bathroom break, whatever is first. Okay, so it's 9:05, so a good few hours into the journey, and I've now stopped off at a 50 kilowatt Instavolt. I think it's 30 pence per kilowatt, and we're currently charging around, it's kind of moving in between 48 and 50, and we got here with 19%. So I'm going to, what am I on about? 9:05, 7:05. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it says that if I want to get to 100%, I need to be here for 2 hours, which obviously I'm not going to do. We'll probably make a move on once we get to 80%. I'm going to have to charge again when I get up to Northumberland to have enough energy to obviously do a good leg of the tow. But I'm going to use the facilities in the McDonald's, hopefully, and get something to eat, and then when the charge properly slows down again towards 80, then we will get underway again. But so far the journey's gone really well. The internet connection has stayed up, which is fantastic. The pilot assist stuff has been effortless, and it's really effortless driving. Don't feel tired or anything at all, so car is doing good. I just now need to go pee. Okay, so I've decided to stop charging at 78%. Even at this 50 kilowatt charger, what was really good is it was really consistent the whole time. So I think I got here at 19%, all up to 78%, pretty much 48 kilowatts the whole way. Cost £16.77, something like that, I think. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my original plan was to try and use BP pulses because obviously I have credit there. I decided I'm just going to go with whatever. There's a 175 kilowatt Fastned charger not too far from where I need to go, so I'm going to drive there now, and we should arrive there with 27%, trying to get as close as I can to 100%, and then finally on to the Fun Fit Adventure headquarters. However, once again the bloody internet connection's gone. It was working a moment ago, I got out, unplugged, come back in, and now no internet again, so I'll have to do a reboot once we're off on the road. But pretty good. Had McDonald's breakfast and now driving on again. 210 miles of range, and it's currently 3 minutes past 8. So one thing it turns out when the telematics stuff's not working, the GPS is obviously connected to that. So the GPS wasn't working, so I thought I was going the right way based on what I could see on the map, and turns out I wasn't. So Polestar, you really need to get this fixed.
Exit onto the M62 slip road to A1, then Manchester.
So yeah, that sucks. So come on, Polestar. I'm still convinced it's nothing to do with the cell provider, because it's not just cell reception, it's GPS, it's the telematics software or the hardware or something. It's playing silly buggers. That means you can't rely on it. And yeah, so very well saying that you got this car with Google Automotive and all that other stuff, but if you can't rely on it on a journey, it's not going to do. Thought I'd do a quick update on efficiency. So pretty much this whole journey so far has been around 8 to 9 degrees centigrade, and again most of it on the motorway, and sitting pretty constant at 70 miles per hour. So if I bring up the trip information, so far I've done 184.6 miles, and we've got an efficiency of 36.8 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and yeah, traveling for 3 hours with an average speed of 64 miles per hour. So I think that's too bad really. Again, it's windy, it's rainy, it's bad conditions, and again it's not really that warm, so yeah, I think that's not too bad. So it's probably going to be about 70, what do you think, 72, 12, 13, 72, 73 kilowatt hours per 100 miles when we're towing back, if we're lucky maybe. So yeah, that's what I check in with, kind of how things are going. I'm about an hour and 5 minutes away from that Fastned charger, so yeah, another 60 odd miles to go. And again, I could get to where I'm going without having to charge again. One charge is easily enough to be able to do 265 miles. My issue is that I need, or I want as much charge as possible when I get to the pickup point for the camper, so I haven't got to stress as much about trying to get to that first charge point. So we'll see, but I'm a little bit anxious about the first time towing and having to charge and stuff, but at least it doesn't seem as windy as it was last night and early this morning. So it is still windy. I've never felt any buffeting or anything with the car, but again, the car weighs 2 ton and pretty solid. Obviously low centre of gravity with the batteries down the bottom, but yeah, we'll see how things feel with the camper on the back. And my strategy is, well, I have two strategies. On the motorway like we're on now, obviously it's very open, so side winds is what will be the problem. If that does become a problem, I'll obviously will slow down even more to make sure that things are as stable as possible, and I have the ability to kind of recover any issues. But then I will re-navigate onto A and B roads, where obviously there's more bushes and trees and things that will minimise any kind of side wind buffeting. But what do I know? I'm definitely not an expert. Okay, so I've arrived in Newcastle at these Fastned chargers. So I think it's 32 pence per kilowatt, and I managed to plug into one of the 175 kilowatt chargers. So we're just waiting to see what happens. So I've got here at 29%, and the battery should be pretty warm because obviously it just charged an hour or so ago, and the temperature is 11 degrees centigrade here. So I don't know, I'd like to hope to think we see some reasonable speed. Right now it's slowly climbing. A better route planner just crashed on here, so it's currently saying on the Polestar screen 179 miles an hour, which is 68.3 kilowatts, so that's not so great. But I need to go find somewhere to pee, and yeah, hopefully that charging speed ramps up a little bit, as I might as well just gone to 50 kilowatt pretty much. So I don't know. So I've had the orange juice from the earlier McDonald's. So these Fastneds are pretty good. There's no toilets or anything like a public around here, but there's like a university. Well, this is Newcastle University where these Fastneds are. There is an e-tron down there that I don't think it's charged, it's just plugged in. But I guess that's one issue of not using motorway services places. I did see the charge just peak to 100 kilowatts before I closed the door to go off and find a bathroom. And it hasn't been that long, and I'm already at 74%, so it definitely is charging fast. Also, we're approaching 80%, so things will start to drop down. So it's currently at 60 kilowatts or 157 miles an hour, but 435 volts. So we're all on schedule actually. I am 34 minutes away from the point that I need to be to collect the Hero camper. And the reason I'm doing this extra charge, as I mentioned, is obviously when I get the camper, it's gonna half my range. So in an ideal world, I want to be there at around 80%, which I don't think is going to happen, because it's going to see how much it trails off here when it gets towards 80%. But at least I know I'm half an hour away from this location, and I think I could probably leave the trailer just kind of next to where I am if I need to charge again. But there's different stress with picking up the trailer. Again, just that stresses, but right now I don't want to let anyone down in terms of the time that I arrive. So that's my main kind of focus point right now, about arriving on time. And on my way back, I can take, all the time in the world to go slow, charge multiple times if I really have to, just to be on the safe side. So So far, all good. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's no real range anxiety getting somewhere without towing. And I think really the range anxiety around the towing is just the fact that I've not done it before. So yes, I will resume when we get to Fun Fit Adventure. But now, some vitamin C. One thing I just thought I will add at the end of this, how much I spent on public chargers. Like I mentioned before, there would be ways to do this cheaper. I think I definitely could do it cheaper. But these actually, I don't think are that bad, at around the 30 pence per kilowatt mark. But obviously I am doing a lot of filling. And I could have had the camper delivered. It would have cost me £400, but I wouldn't have got to meet Richard, who I wanted to meet, and obviously find out a little bit more about the camper on the handover. So to me, I think it's probably going to cost me, if I carry on doing this kind of charging, 30, 60, about £100 maybe. We'll see how things go at the end. That's not including obviously charging up last night, but last night at home was £1.50. So yeah, we shall see. And obviously probably some cost of food as well. But yep, we're at 78% now. We've dropped down to 52.1 kilowatts, so it's still good. I will leave it a little bit longer because I'm doing okay for time. I'll probably give it 10 more minutes before I head off and see what percentage we're at. 82%, and the charger had pretty much really throttled down to like 30 odd. So yeah, I'm gonna make a move. £17.34 I think it was, which not too bad, and now I have 230 miles of range. So let's do it. Okay, so I've arrived at Fun Fit Adventure. So let's give you a quick stats update before we do the reset. So I have 72% battery remaining. Total drive has been 268.5 miles, averaging 36.6 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. 4 hours and 44 minutes of driving time and an average of 59 miles per hour. So we'll see how things are when we reset everything, and then yeah, take it from there. But that was pretty good, I think. So yeah, it says we have 190 miles of range, so I call it 90 on the way back. See how we got on. But now to get the camper. Okay, so that's the handover completed. Excellent to meet Richard and Sarah. So we're all hitched up and heading back. Tested all the lights, everything are working. Again, it just feels effortless. You can hardly feel that there's anything on there. I've reset the trip computer. I'm going to pull over and just kind of work out my route once I get off this little single track road. But yeah, it's nice to see it behind. And yeah, see how we get on. So I'm currently saying 71% battery. It is 12:54. Again, I'll pull over when I get to an easier piece of road, and then we'll work out where our next charging stop is going to be, because obviously we need a few charges. But yeah, so far so good. Plenty more videos to come, obviously related to the Hero camper. And again, remember, there are going to be some videos still here on the Spectrum Geeks channel, but also check out and subscribe to the Hero Camper Owner channel for videos focused specifically on the camper. Yeah, let's see what it's like to tow 265 miles in the Polestar 2. Okay, so all is kind of going as planned, which is good. I can feel the camper, I guess, tugging a little bit. It is a bit windy, but the car's not having any struggle whatsoever. So again, we've not been going that far yet. I am going to charge when a better route planner is telling me to charge. So I'm currently at 63%. I'm going to be pulling over and charging about 48%. A BP Polar charger, whatever they're called these days, to charge up for a bit there. And that'll give me a little bit more time to have a little look through again the route to make sure I'm happy with where I'm going and what I'm doing. Currently using 57.7 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, but it is dropping down a little bit. So it's actually performing, I think, a little bit better than I thought, but it's early days, and obviously we'll see how we go. But yeah, right now, no worries, no problems. I did mean to set up a camera to be able to look at the back a little bit, which I may do that when we get to the next stop and obviously my main focus is obviously on driving. So yeah, we'll check in at the BP Pulse charging location. Okay, so this is interesting. I've not used a better route planner before to actually navigate, obviously in the car. I've done some stuff on the phone and things before, but it's actually the advantage. Obviously, I've upgraded to the premium subscription for this. I think what it's doing, it's looking at my real-time data and then adjusting my route. So the place that I was going to charge, I think, as I mentioned, I would get there with like 50%, which kind of seemed odd, but you know, it is what it is. It's now so we don't need to go there, so we can carry on going until we get to a place called Appleby Manor, and we should get there with 27%, and that's about 56 miles away. And yeah, it says you only have to stop there for 26 minutes, I think, but I will probably stay longer just so I can again work out what I'm doing, what's going on. But yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but I don't think I'm having too much in the range anxiety thing. I think it's slowly kind of petering off a little bit. If I just little look to see how we're doing, so I left with 70%, I think it was, and now 56%, and I've done 19 miles. So not sure what that really means, but I do know it's now starting to lash it down and get windier. So yeah, more concentrating, less vlogging, and I'll catch up again in a little bit. Made it onto the M6 now, so obviously limited to 60 miles per hour and a little bit more chance of any crosswind and stuff, but again, everything feels fine. Current consumption check 57.7 kilowatt hours. It goes up and down a little bit, obviously going up a bit of a hill at the moment, but everything's kind of on schedule. Currently at 37% battery. It says about 70 miles of range, and I'm about 30 minutes, I think, away from this BP Pulse place that I'm supposed to be stopping at. And again, it says I need to stay there for 35 minutes, and it's only a 50 kilowatt charger. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping that, well, I'm hoping two things. One that the charger's working, so I think it's just a single charger there, but that also may be good because it may mean I don't need to unattach if I can park in a way that isn't inconsiderate to others. But I'm also starting to need the bathroom. But, yeah, so far also good. Really getting used to it now, and yeah, still right now any range anxiety I had has gone, but we'll see how it feels in about half an hour, I guess, when we get to this Appleby Manor and the BP Pulse charger. I'm just going to take my jacket off, getting a bit hot now. Oh, and the Hail Mary, I'm near at the end now. It's a really good book, so if you like sci-fi, definitely check it out. Okay, so I'm down to 10% and literally just hopefully going to pull up at this BP charging place soon. A better route planner kind of crapped the bed for some reason, so I had to then take a detour whilst I tried to work out what I was doing again, which cost me a few percent, and most of these roads are really narrow, so it's that bit I have to keep on remembering that I obviously stick out a little bit more at the back, but should get there with 9%, which is probably less than ideal, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. So fingers crossed. Okay, so I made it. I can't reverse the crap with the trailer. I definitely need to work on that. But I managed to unhitch it. I've parked it just in front of this charging bay. You couldn't kind of park across, even though there's only one of them. So yeah, it says I need to charge to 51%, but I'll stay a bit longer, I think, depending on how well the charger works. So I'm just set myself a timer, because you can't stay here for longer than 90 minutes. So take care of that, and then see what we're charging at. So it's only a 50 kilowatt charger. The better route planner does seem a bit buggy on here, like it's not responsive again. Okay, at 10%, 46.7 kilowatts. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to see if I need to put a pin number in or anything. I'm going to put my hitch lock on. Actually, it'll probably be okay as long as I'm staying here watching it anyway. But yeah, so I'll come back once it's charged up and decide how we're tackling this next. Okay, so whilst we're charging here, I thought I'd have a quick show of you what it looks like inside. I'm not 100% sure kind of how I've parked, so I'm not going to take everything out, but just as like a little interlude, show you what it looks like inside. So inside here we have the main control panel, which we can turn on here, and then we can turn the lights on. And let me see if I can flip the video camera around. So here we have inside. So right now it's full of all the side awnings and all this kind of stuff that I will need to take out and sort out storage for. It gives you a little bit of an idea what it looks like. Obviously the kitchen area is over the other back side of here, which I'm not going to open up right now. This here is a shelf and a third bed. that slides out that someone up to 60 kilograms can sleep on, assuming obviously they fit the width. But yeah, there's going to be more videos to come on it. But the journey has been pretty painless so far, and again I think the efficiency is slightly better than I thought it would be. So we've done, I think, I can't check right now because we're charging, but I'm pretty sure I'd done just over 100 miles and we had used 60% of the battery, and I thought I'd only be able to do about 80 odd miles. I think, I can't remember, I'm trying to think now. I don't know, I think it's going well though. No, it's not performing less than I thought it would, which is the main thing. But yeah, this spot is actually quite a nice quiet spot, so I think I'm going to stay here a little bit longer than it said. So it said I only really need to charge up to 50% before I move on, but if we go over to the charger, I'll stay here maybe the full 90 minutes that I'm able to. It's only 50 kilowatts and I'll probably try and charge up to 80%, as you can see there, because as I know that this is a decent spot to wait and charge at, I don't know what the next charging location is going to be like. So yeah, I won't risk it. Obviously I'm probably going to have to go there, but I will make the most of this charging space, I think. But obviously more to come at the end of the video when I know really how well everything's performed. But so far I'm happy, and no range anxiety so far, which is really the main thing. So, quick little update. So we're currently at 75% and the charge is still going okay, so 49.8 kilowatts going in. So I'm going to just wait 5% more, which is plenty to get to my last charge location. It says only one more charge location, which is fantastic, which means I've done 265 miles whilst towing with only 2 charges, which is twice as good really as I'd hoped for. So I am still gonna stay overnight somewhere. So I think when I get to kind of Cannock area, I'm probably gonna stop around there and either park up or stay at a campsite and sleep one night in there, just because it's going to be dark by the time I get home and I don't really want my first adventure trying to get on my drive and stuff being a bit of a nightmare. So as soon as I have the opportunity, I'm going to probably take it, and the weather's getting bad as well, so do what I can. So yep, I'll check back in with you when I head off to give an update on what the battery performance and stuff was like, and also read all these text messages that are coming in. Okay, so it's just starting to rain and I've got to 81%, so I'm gonna take this as a sign to get a move on. So I'll just tell you kind of the stats before we move on. So I'd actually done 80.7 miles, so a bit less than I thought, and that was at 57.7 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, average speed of 41 miles per hour, and took me 2 hours and 4 minutes. So not quite as good as I thought, but still pretty good. But let's hitch up before it starts to absolutely lash it down and then get back on the move. This journey back is full of beautiful views on all the kind of back roads that it's just taken me this way. It wasn't I guess my choice to try and avoid the motorway, but oh man, the roads are so uneven, you can feel it bumping and jogging around a fair bit, so I'll be glad when you get to some slightly even roads. So I have adjusted the regen a little bit because I wasn't sure that's not helping on some of the up and down gradients and the potholes and everything all over the place. So again, just something to get used to.
Yard, go right at the roundabout, third exit.
There's a big tractor coming, so I need to try and make sure that we can pass each other. There we go. This BP place isn't a BP place, it's like a franchise, so my card doesn't work here, which is annoying. So I'm having to pay 39p or whatever it is per kilowatt. But yeah, I didn't really want to mess around trying to go somewhere else because the weather is crud. So yeah, just want to see what speed it's charging at. It's not really being all that helpful. Anyway, see how we go, I think. See what this says. Yeah, better route planner seems to have crashed on me. So I'm going to go and get a sandwich or something, and then I'll work out what I'm doing in a bit to find my mask. Okay, so again, slightly unexpected charging situation in terms of it was a BP garage, it wasn't a BP charger like it said on there. So I think again it was 20 quid, something like that. So right, now we've done a total of 159 miles, currently sitting at 56 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. The weather's been absolutely crap. It's wet, it's rainy, it's 10 degrees. A total of 3 hours and 48 minutes of driving time. Obviously now that's the second and last time I need to charge to get home. I've been trying to find a site that I can book into, but I'm struggling a little bit, so I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to go all the way home, which I'm not really sure about, even though it's easily manageable just because of how dark it being. I quite like to spend the night. So there is an app that shows some places that you can park overnight at, which I have a look at. And my average speed is 44 miles per hour. So all in all, it's going really well. No issues, no problems. It says if I was to keep going all the way home, should be home in about 1 hour 50 minutes, about 120 miles left to go, and a 14% battery when I get there. So I charge up to 81%. So again, the better route planner I think knows obviously that I'm towing and what the efficiency is. Obviously the Polestar, it doesn't know, so it thinks I've got 220 miles of range when really, yeah, I should be able to do 120 miles, so it is just over half, I think. But we'll see what it ends up at when I completely stop. And yeah, I appreciate this has turned into a long video, but hopefully it helps. Again, like I said, no range anxiety. Yes, I had to stop twice, but for the same distance I would have had to stop once without towing. So no issues. As you see from the pictures, with a camper this size, easy just to kind of swish it out the way. It's a little bit hard at the first place, it was on gravel, but that second place at the petrol station I kind of pulled forward, unhitched, reversed round into the space, and then just parked it in front of me. Didn't cause any issues to anybody. I probably could have parked it in one of the other charging bays because there was no one else there apart from one other person, but I just felt like it's not the right thing to do that, so I didn't. Yeah, we'll keep on going, and yeah, see how we go. There's lots of roadworks as well as the weather, so like 50 mile an hour specs, speed limits and stuff. And the route that I've taken back I think is a slightly longer route than the route I took up. Again, because I was trying to use the BP Pulse charger to use up some of my credit, but never mind, is what it is. So yeah, not too bad, I don't think. But yeah, we'll tally it up as best we can at the end of the video. But I'll stop nattering for now, and I'll check in hopefully if I find somewhere to decide to park up, or just keep on going all the way home. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but this weather is absolutely terrible. The motorway is all flooded, there's side winds and everything. So I figure if I can tow in this, I can tow in anything. So just keep an eye on the speed, keep an eye on everything. But I'm going all the way home. I'll be home by 9 o'clock. Isn't too bad. It's nearly 8 o'clock now. So I am getting tired. So I may stop service it just for a break if I need it, but not going to stay anywhere overnight, just going all the way home, and I'll let you know what the end performance was like. But right now it's got 51% battery left, and I'll get out of this lane. 51% battery left, and we're currently averaging 56.5 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which again I still think that is pretty good. The range is going down a bit now that the weather's got even worse. So originally it said I would have 10% battery when I get back, now it's saying 6%, so I will keep an eye on that. If it continues to drop really much further than that, then I probably will stop off very briefly for a quick charge. But I think if the weather was better, again, it still might be okay. 2 charges for, well, how many miles would it be? I've done 200 miles so far, 80 miles left. 280 miles, 2 charges whilst towing. It's pretty damn good. Well, I bottled it, and as you can see here, it's next to me.
Turn left, then go left at the roundabout. First exit.
I turned up at these Instavolts, and the one next to me is out of use, so I've been able to park next to me. But yeah, it was getting too close. 6% left to get back, so I decided that didn't have the muster for that. So I've now plugged in at 50 kilowatt. Just a little bit. I've had a quick wee, and then I'll be off again. But unfortunately these Instavolts are right at the entrance to the drive-through, which isn't really best, but nearly there. But it's looking now that I won't be back till what's it saying where we are? It's coming after 10 o'clock now, I think. But yeah, just that last bit was a little bit too much. Yeah, so about 50 miles from home. So I'll literally get going in a minute. Whew, it's been a long day. Up at 4 o'clock. Hopefully home by just after 10, I think. And then we'll be good. But sticking that extra third charge in just to be on the safe side. But yeah, I think it's gonna be like 280 miles or something, isn't it, by the time I've done the back leg, and obviously 260 or it was up. So cool, nearly done. I'm gonna finish up the rest of this video in the morning. I've charged from 20% up to 50%, so just a quick stop, and now I'm gonna travel the last 50 miles home, and then do some conclusionary stuff in the morning. Apart from this location here, just a little bit awkward because it's a drive-through or drive-in or whatever you call it. Everything else has been absolutely fine, but I'll be let's get home because I'm a bit tired now. I made it home, and just after obviously this, I'm gonna go to bed and then do an update on the trip. But I come home and my daughter's sleeping in my bed because apparently she had a bad dream. So I decided, sod it, I'm gonna sleep in the Hero on the driveway for the first time. So yeah, off to bed I go. Catch you in the morning. Okay, so first of all, if you've made it this far and you watched the whole video, thank you very much. I think this is the longest video I've ever had to make and edit and kind of upload and everything. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope it's been informative and helpful, and obviously it's giving you some insight into whether it makes sense to be towing with electric vehicles, as well as particularly a little bit of information around this particular kind of camper. Again, more stuff to come, but I'll finish off by obviously wrapping up and give you the stats, which is probably what you may have just jumped to if that's all you cared about. So yeah, so I won't keep everything too long. I'll put some stuff up on the screen as well. If you saw my previous towing video, it's where I hired a horse box. It was a similar kind of size and weight to make sure this thing was viable before I placed my order. So to give some stats on that, the temperatures then were actually very similar to the temperatures of this trip. So even though we're in late May, it's still quite wintry in terms of weather-wise. So when I did that previous test in my Polestar 2, when I wasn't towing, the temperature was between 7 to 10 degrees. It's 9 degrees pretty much constantly over this test, or coming back. And my car did 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, which isn't too bad. The Polestar 2 is hungry. But when I was towing, it was around 1.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So pretty much halved the range in terms of how kind of things were performing. Obviously, there's a slightly different test. All of this was pretty much on motorways, nearly all the way there and all the way back, so not 100%. So let me give you the stats based on this test and this journey back. So the total amount of miles that I drove altogether was 556.2 miles. So the trip up there was slightly more direct. So I was less obviously worried about the charging, as you saw through the video. I did 268.5 miles, and the journey back whilst towing was 287.7 miles. So a little bit more to get back. So if we look at the non-towing statistics, so as mentioned, 268.5 miles driven. The weather conditions, it was 9 degrees centigrade pretty much all the way, wet and windy and miserable, all from when I left at 4:45 all the way to getting to Funfit Adventure, which I think was around 10 past 11, something like that. The efficiency of the non-towing as we were going up there was 36.6 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which equates to 2.73 miles per kilowatt hour. So a bit less than what I had on that previous test, but the weather conditions were slightly better. There was no rain, it wasn't as windy. That obviously did have an impact. And the average speed over that trip, again, being pretty much all on the motorway, was 59 miles per hour. So based on that efficiency and that consumption and everything, for the Polestar 2 dual motor long range that I have, it's a 78 kilowatt hour battery, that 75 kilowatt hours of it is usable. That would mean the maximum range in those conditions would be 205 miles. Now, electric vehicles do work better in the summer and warmer weather, so I'm confident it can do more than that, but this is what it is for this test. My total time spent driving to go up there was 4 hours and 44 minutes, and the total time I spent charging on the trip up, remember I did that last stop to give me extra charge when I picked up and started the towing journey, so 1 hour and 38 minutes spent charging. Obviously one of those chargers was only 50 kilowatt, so if I had the ability to stop at a faster charger, it would have reduced the charging time. But that's how much time I spent charging, and I put in a total of 92.47 kilowatt hours of electricity whilst charging, and it cost me £34.10 in total for the going up piece. Now, I guess the more interesting piece is coming back. So after I got to Funfit Adventure, picked up my Hero Camper Ranger and popped it on there, obviously then the journey back. So as mentioned, 287.7 miles whilst towing. 9 degrees centigrade, wet and windy. It was definitely wetter and windier than the journey up. If you watch the videos, you'll see the weather got real bad at some point. And obviously, it was getting late, and it wasn't fun, that last piece. But interestingly, I think the range was actually pretty good whilst towing. So the efficiency over that trip, when I finally got home, was 57.1 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. So that's 1.75 miles per kilowatt hour. So slightly better than what we got in that previous test I did, even though these weather conditions were worse. So the Polestar 2 does a great job of towing, really. So the average speed over that trip was 43 miles per hour. Obviously, you are limited to speed limits here in the UK, so 60 miles an hour on the motorway and 50 miles an hour dual carriageways, and 30 obviously in the normal driving areas. For a long part of the journey I had to do 50 because there was traffic on the M6 and road closed and all sorts of stuff. But the average speed was 43 miles per hour for my journey back. So that would equate to about 131 miles out of the charge whilst towing, which I think is pretty good. Anything over 100 for me is a bonus. 100 was kind of my threshold. So my total time driving to come home was 7 hours and 26 minutes, and I spent 2 hours and 32 minutes charging. And all the charging, two of the chargers were 50 kilowatts, and one of them was 150, I think, that seemed to work a bit better. So I spent 2 hours 32 minutes of charging, and I put in 127.29 kilowatt hours of energy from chargers on the way back, and that cost me £36.47. So 70 odd pounds in total to do 556.2 miles, including towing. So the impact of towing with the Polestar 2 in that scenario, the test that I did, is a 35.9% reduction in range. So that's better than the 50% that I originally thought. Obviously, I'll be doing more videos on my other channel related to the Hero Camper, and I will kind of put in some information about efficiency when I do our little trips. So please, if you're interested in the Hero Camper, then I will mention some stuff on this channel, but please also subscribe to the Hero Camper owner YouTube channel that I've set up. There'll be a link down in the description. But yeah, I am going to wrap this video up because it's already massive. But thank you very much, as always, for watching. I hope it's been interesting and informative, and hopefully let you know that the Polestar 2 is a good car for towing, and I think the Hero Ranger is kind of perfect for EV towing ownership in the future, and hopefully will be become more and more common, more and more popular. So again, if you haven't already, please like this video. Please consider subscribing, press that notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. And sorry for any background noise in here. Got the servers on and stuff as I try and kind of sort some things out. But take care for now. Look after yourself, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.